Forget everything you think you know about crypto. This isn't about getting rich. It's about a war, a secret war, fought in the shadows for the future of money itself. This is the story of a revolutionary idea and the brutal counterattack to crush it.
The promise was so simple, wasn't it? Money that would finally set you free. A key to a cage you never even knew you were locked inside. True financial freedom for anyone, anywhere.
But that kind of freedom? Well, that's a threat. Because when you control the money, you control the world. And the powers that be, they don't give up control without a fight. This is the story of that fight.
So where did it all begin? Not with a bang, not with a headline. It started in the shadows, with a few ghosts. Ghosts in the machine, writing the source code for a revolution long before the world was ready to hear it.
Way back in 1983, think about that, before most people even had a computer, a cryptographer named David Chaum saw the future. And what he saw were digital chains. So he created the first shot in this war, eCash. We're talking truly anonymous, untraceable digital money. It was a direct challenge to every government, every central bank. He even started a company. The banks, well, they loved the idea, right up until they realized what it meant. And then they crushed him. But you can't kill an idea. And that idea, it went underground. It started spreading through these niche mailing lists, these forums, the digital resistance. The pieces of the puzzle started falling into place. You had Adam back in '97, who accidentally creates a weapon, proof of work, just to stop spam email. Can you believe it? Then, a year later, boom, boom, Wei Dai proposes B-money. Nick Szabo designs BitGold. These weren't just academic papers. These were blueprints. They were theoretical bombs, just sitting there, waiting for someone with the guts to light the fuse. But a bomb needs a target. A revolution needs a reason. The world needed a spark. And in 2008, the entire system gave us one. The whole thing just broke. The global financial system went into cardiac arrest. And who paid the price? You did. Your money was used to bail out the very architects of the disaster. The trust was shattered. And right then, in that moment of absolute failure, someone or something decided to light the fuse. Halloween 2008, a 9-page document appears online. Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The author, Satoshi Nakamoto. A ghost. Nobody knows who he is or what he is. But this paper, this was a declaration of war. And if there was any doubt, just a few months later, the network goes live. The very first block, the Genesis block, has a message embedded inside it for all time. A headline from a newspaper. The Times, 03/Jan/2009, Chancellor on brink of second bailout for banks. You see what that is? It's not a timestamp. It's a mission statement. It's the motive, a permanent digital middle finger to the entire broken system. This wasn't about tech. It was born from pure political rage. For a while, it was just this thing for nerds and cryptographers, a digital ghost. But then in 2010, it crossed over into our world. A programmer traded 10,000 Bitcoin, which he just mined for fun, for 2 pizzas. 2 pizzas. Today, that pizza money is worth around $700 million. Think about that. That was the moment the ghost in the machine became real. But Bitcoin, you see, was just the proof of concept. It was the first shot. The revolution was about to get a whole lot bigger. It was about to go nuclear. Suddenly, the floodgates opened. You had Namecoin trying to build a censorship-proof internet. You had Litecoin, a faster, leaner Bitcoin. The code was open, and it started to mutate, to evolve. And then, Bitcoin hits $1,000, and that's when the world woke up. And more importantly, that's when the state started to get very, very nervous. While everyone was focused on Bitcoin, this one kid, a teenager named Vitalik Buterin, looked at it and thought, this is great, but what if it could do more? What if money wasn't just money? What if money could think? His answer was Ethereum. And this changed everything. This wasn't just an alternative to the dollar anymore. This was programmable money, a world computer, a way to build an entire financial system without banks, without brokers, without any middlemen at all. If Bitcoin was a declaration of war, Ethereum was the all-out invasion. And right on cue, the empire strikes back. The state finally realized this wasn't just a toy for techies. This was an existential threat, And so they came out swinging. Not with better technology, no, with their oldest and most powerful weapon, the law.
And just like that, an arms race began. On one side, you have the state's weapons: impossible licensing rules, deliberate regulatory confusion, financial blacklisting, and their favorite, mandatory surveillance, forcing you to prove who you are just to use your own money. But on the other side, the resistance fought back. They built decentralized exchanges that can't be shut down. They created anonymity tools and privacy coins designed from the ground up to be untraceable. For every move the state made, the cypherpunks had a countermove. The state's strategy became brutally simple. If you can't kill the beast, you cage it. They knew they couldn't shut down the networks themselves, so they focused on controlling the gates, the on-ramps and the off-ramps where crypto meets real money. First, they make you register. Then, they make you verify your identity. KYC. Scan your face, give them your name, your address, they want it all. And if you refuse, well, then you're locked out. The original promise of a private, permissionless system, it was being choked to death, step by step.
And that brings us to right now. The early skirmishes are over. We're in the endgame. This is the final battle for what comes next. And the battle lines are clearly drawn. On one side, you have the state's ultimate weapon, central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. That's government money they can program, track, and even turn off. Total control. And on the other side, the resistance is doubling down. New privacy chains that are truly anonymous. New decentralized exchanges that answer to no one. It's two completely opposite visions for the future of humanity, and they are on a collision course. Because you have to understand, this has never really been about technology. It's not about charts going up or down. It's about ideology. It's a political philosophy, a belief system about what freedom means, written in the unforgiving language of code. And what that means is that every single move you make in this space is a vote. It's a political act. When you choose to use a privacy coin or trade on a DEX or even just run your own node, you're not just making a transaction. You are casting a ballot. You are choosing a side in this war. You're deciding which future gets built. So in the end, the real question isn't whether crypto can survive the state. The technology is probably here to stay. The real question, the one that should keep you up at night, is whether the original idea of freedom can survive crypto.